Hi, my candle lovers, and welcome back. My name is Sandy, and I am the owner of Love You Candle Company. And we're back again. Before we get started, and I tell you what we're going to talk about today, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to watch my previous videos. They have a lot of information that's very helpful, especially if you're just getting started. And don't forget to like and hit the notification button. It's very important. That way you get notified every time I release a new video. So today we are going to talk about the 10 things that you should do and you should know before you launch your candle business. So when I first got started, I did some research, but I did not find all the information that I needed. And honestly, as I started making candles is when I really started learning the things that I should have done differently. So without further ado, let's get started. The first one on our list is what type of wax should you work with? So before you get started, you definitely want to have down packed what type of wax you're going to be working with. So there are tons of types of waxes out there. Soy wax is like the most generic one out of the soy family, but there are other types of soy wax. There are different types of soy wax out there, but 464 is the most common one that a lot of people use. So initially what I did is that I purchased about 5 pounds of each wax, only because I definitely wanted to test, because there's a lot of testing involved with the wicks and the vessels and the fragrance load. So you definitely want to try out different waxes and see which one you want to work with, or you can just go ahead and just based on the reviews and the research that you've done, just go ahead and start working with a certain wax. So there are different types of waxes. There's 464, like I mentioned before. There's also coconut wax. There's coconut apricot. There's paraffin soy. There's soy veggie mix. So there are so many different types of waxes. After doing my extensive research and testing, I decided that my wax was going to be wax number 10 from California Candle Supply, only because this wax was very easy to work with. Super smooth tops. The cold throw and hot throw was amazing, and the wicks were pretty easy to test. However, this does not mean that I did not run into little issues and that I did not make mistakes, because I sure did. But I felt that out of all the waxes that I tried, this is the wax that worked for me. Now, this does not mean that the other waxes out there are not good. 464 is a good wax. A lot of candle makers out there that are successful and that have been in business for a while do use 464. And I give props to them because they have mastered how to work with this wax. This wax personally was not for me. It required too much testing, and I felt like I just did not want to waste my money like that, especially when you don't have too much funds to work with. And I just felt that, okay, let me just go with wax number 10. Wax with number 10 was amazing for me. It just worked. I know a lot of other candle makers that work with that wax. The only problem with that wax is that it's always sold out. There's only 2 suppliers. One of them is California Candle Supply. The other one is Swan, and they're always sold out. So what I ended up doing with this wax is that I buy about 80 pounds of wax. And it usually lasts me until they're either restocked again, or I probably still have wax still when they're restocked, but I still buy more just so that I don't run out. That way I don't have to go to plan B. So you definitely want to test. You just want to make sure that when you launch, you're 100% happy with the type of wax that you're putting out there for your customers to buy. You don't want to still be testing when you already launch. That means you're not ready to launch. Number 2, and by the way, all of these are not in chronological order. They're just in any type of order. So number 2, all your testing should be complete. Yes. So all your testing involving your wax, your wicks, your fragrance loads, your vessels, everything should be complete. And you should be able to say, I have my perfect candle that I am 100% happy putting out there to my customers. Why? Because you want to make sure that you are putting out there a quality candle. Why? That way you have returning customers. You definitely don't want to put something out there that you're not sure of. If you're not sure of the quality of your candle, then you're not ready to launch. Number three, definitely. Number three is test with cheap vessels, not your expensive ones. By expensive, I don't mean a $7 vessel. It can be a $2 vessel. You have to look what's your budget. So I test with Dollar Tree vessels. They're an 8-ounce vessel. And it's glass. I've shown it to you guys in my previous videos. If you want to go ahead and look, I don't have one now. I forgot to bring one. But I test with Dollar Tree vessels. Why? Because they're the exact dimension of the actual vessels that I use. Therefore, whatever I test in the vessel, it's going to work for my vessels that are more expensive. Also, you don't want to throw away nice vessels that you're going to be using for testing purposes. The vessels, they're not cheap. They're one of the things that costs more aside from your wax when you're making candles. So my best advice to you is go to Dollar Tree, go to the dollar store, find a vessel, an 8-ounce vessel, if you're going to be doing 8-ounce candles, that is going to match the vessels that you originally are going to start selling. But if you decide to go with the Dollar Tree vessels, even better, because even if you do test with the same vessels, you're not going to feel like you're wasting your money. Number 4 is make sure you start the hype before launching. Yes, guys, this is so important. Make sure that if you have decided you're gonna go ahead and move forward with your candle business, make sure you start telling everybody that you're making candles. Make sure that you start putting it on your social media, on your Facebook, Instagram, whatever type of platforms you're on. Make sure you tell your friends, your family, hey, I'm making candles, and more or less start hyping, hey, I'm gonna launch in the winter, I'm gonna launch in the spring, I'm gonna launch in the summer, whatever. Just make sure you're creating that hype so that people start asking, when are your candles coming? When are your candles coming? I can't wait to buy. I created hype around my brand. And once I launched, I did get a lot of sales. And it had to do with I created a lot of hype before my launch. Number 5. Make sure you have business cards, flyers. Yes, you definitely want to make sure you have business cards. That way, when you're creating the hype, you give your business card. You're like, hey, don't forget to like my page, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, like me on Facebook. Make sure that you are giving people a business card. That way they can go ahead, and typically people put their business card either in their wallet or in their purse. So when they're going through it, they're like, oh, I remember. Sometimes people forget. So if you give them a business card, they're always going to remember who you are. They're going to follow you. And once you launch, they know that you have already launched. So I'm reading on my notes, guys, so bear with me. Number 6, have an email address. Yes, this is so important because once you launch, you have already given your business cards out and people are going to start emailing you, especially if you are going to go into wholesaling, which that is such an amazing opportunity. You want to make sure that the customers and the clients that you have are able to reach you. So an email address is very important. And a second point to the email address, make sure that you have your domain and that your domain is going to be part of your email. For example, my domain is loveyoukcandleco.com and my email is info@candleco.com. So it makes it look more professional, especially if you're going into wholesaling, that you are an established professional business. So make sure that you have an email address and make sure that you get the email address with your domain. That is very important. Let's see, what's the next one? A website. Yes. So there's a lot of talk between Shopify, getting a website, or being on Etsy. Honestly, I have both. But given that I have both, I honestly prefer Shopify over Etsy. I have Etsy only because I wanted to have Etsy use their marketing to bring new clients to me, more customers to me that I was unable to through my website. However, on my social media platforms and friends and family, I send them all directly to my Shopify store. For one, they get to subscribe. That way, anytime I do email marketing campaigns, they receive my emails. On Etsy, you can't do that. Another reason is that Shopify is cheaper than Etsy. Granted, Etsy only charges you like 20, I think, I forgot, 21 cents or 25 cents, 20 something cents. Sorry. And Shopify charges you $35 a month. Here's where I don't like the fees with Etsy's. They charge you a lot of fees. They charge you a listing fee, and every time you put a new product, they charge you. Shopify doesn't do that. Yes, you pay the Shopify charges you, but there's so many more things that you can do for those $35 than you can do for the 20 cents that Etsy is charging you. Also, there are no transaction fees. There are fees on Shopify, but they're credit card fees. They're not the actual transaction fee that Etsy charges you. Therefore, the fees on Etsy are more expensive than on Shopify. I've actually compared the both, and if you guys do want, I can make a separate video kind of comparing the two between Etsy and Shopify. So the reason why I love having my website is because I have total control of what I want to do with my website. And on Etsy, I really don't have control of that. So that's as far as the website. Number 8, make an LLC. Guys, make an LLC, get an LLC. There's so many benefits that come with an LLC. You can be on the farmer's market with an LLC. You can start selling to other boutiques, salons, other businesses as wholesale with an LLC. You get to do a lot of expenses and expense a lot of your supplies and business expenses with an LLC. So don't forget to make an LLC. You're a business owner, act like one. Definitely get one. I highly recommend it. Please, please, please. There are so many other candle makers that actually have not gotten an LLC, and they have no idea how much they're missing out by not creating an LLC. Number 9. Number 9, I feel like should have been number 1. But like I said, we're not going in order. So number 9, you must know your cost of goods. You must know your cost of goods before you launch. There is no way that you should be launching if you do not know your cost of goods. I know some candle makers that have launched and they're still trying to determine how much they should be charging for their candles. They don't know. That should not be a question that you should have after you launch. You should be able to determine your cost of goods before you launch. That way you're able to price your candles. Rule of thumb is your cost of goods, the cost to make that candle for wholesale is ×2, and for retail is ×4. So whatever that candle costs to make you're gonna multiply that by 4, and that is the minimum that you should be charging for your candle so you can make a healthy profit. So make sure you know how to calculate your cost of goods. If you don't know, I can help you out and I can make a separate video. If you comment down below and let me know, hey, I really wanna know how to determine how to come up with my cost of goods. How will I know how much I should be selling my candles? So make sure that you know your cost of goods before you launch. If you have launched and you're still asking that question, that means you are not ready to launch. And finally, number 10, business plan, marketing, branding, shipping, logo. So number 10, you should have all of this before you launch. You shouldn't be having any branding, marketing questions about your candle business after you launch. You should already know how are you going to market your business. If you're going to have a website, what's your logo? What is the branding that's going to go with your packaging of your orders once somebody buys? You need to have a business plan if you're going to be in a farmer's market, if you're going to be in trade shows. I know we're in the middle of COVID, but farmer's markets are available right now. And like I said before, in order to be in a farmer's market, you need to have an LLC. So make sure you have a business plan. Write it out. Get yourself either a whiteboard. If you are a visual learner, whiteboards are the best. We have one right there. We write stuff down. And you need to keep organized. That way you're not just going with the flow. it's not just about making candles. To have a very successful business, you need to have a business plan and be organized step by step. What are you gonna do? And have a launch date. You can even do a soft launch. So just keep in mind that you want to have all these 10 things in place before you launch. If I am missing something, or you're watching my channel, you're watching my video, and you're more experienced than me, I welcome your comments. I love learning from other candle makers. I don't know everything, guys. I am recording and logging my journey with candle making because I am new to this. This is not my first business, but this is my first business in the handcraft field. This is the first business that I'm actually making the products myself. So I'm super excited to share these tips with you. Like I said, I started this channel because I really wanted to help those candle makers out there that really don't know what they're doing and they want more research. Make sure you also join Facebook groups for candle makers. There's so much information on there, and all these girls are so amazing. Stanley Handcraft has a Facebook group, and that group is amazing, guys. There's so much information on there, and all the girls on there are so sweet. You ask a question, they answer, and you get to know and get advice from other candle makers that are using your same type of wax. So without further ado, that's it. I don't want to hold you guys anymore, but I am so glad to be here another week, and I will be in touch with you guys again. And my next video, I will be making a video on how to make candles with coconut soy. So my previous video was how I make my own candles using my wax. But now my next video, I'm going to show you guys how do you make candles with coconut soy wax. So I'm super excited. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.